Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest stories. Asterisk, I never thought I'd be sitting here, staring out my window with a cup of tea in my hands, remembering that night like it was yesterday. But some moments in life carve themselves so deeply into your memory that no matter how much time passes, they remain just as vivid, just as full of emotion. Asterisk, I was 62 years old, long past the age of chasing excitement or expecting surprises. At this stage in life, you think you've seen it all, especially after working at the same company for nearly 20 years. My job wasn't glamorous, but it was stable. I was the executive assistant to Daniel Carter, the CEO of a well-known publishing house in Chicago. Asterisk, he was the kind of boss people respected, not because he demanded it, but because he carried himself with quiet authority, always professional, always in control, and never once had he blurred the lines between business and personal matters. Asterisk, until that night. It started with a simple email. Dinner tonight. My treat. I have something important to discuss with you. Asterisk, I frowned at my screen, rereading the message. Daniel never asked me to dinner. Yes, we worked late often, and sometimes we ordered takeout at the office, but this was different. This was an invitation. Asterisk, my first instinct was to decline. What could be so important that it couldn't be discussed at work? But curiosity got the better of me, and before I could overthink it, my fingers were already typing back. Asterisk, sure. What time? And where? His response came almost instantly, 7 p.m., La Belle. I blinked. La Belle wasn't just any restaurant. It was one of the most elegant, intimate places in the city, candlelit tables, a pianist playing soft jazz, and a menu so exclusive that you had to book weeks in advance. Asterisk, a nervous energy settled in my stomach as I packed up my things that evening. Was this about work? A promotion? No, that didn't make sense. I was already at the top of my role. A retirement offer, maybe. But then why dinner at a place like that? Asterisk, by the time I arrived at the restaurant, my heart was pounding harder than it should have been for a simple meal. The hostess led me to a secluded table near the window where Daniel was already waiting. He stood as I approached, his usual crisp suit in place, but there was something different about him. A restless energy in the way he straightened his cufflinks and smoothed his tie. Asterisk, you look lovely tonight, he said as I took my seat. Asterisk, I laughed lightly, brushing off the compliment. Thank you. I hope this isn't about my quarterly reports, because I was really hoping for a night off from spreadsheets. Asterisk, he chuckled, but his eyes held a warmth I hadn't noticed before. No, it's not about work, at least not entirely. Asterisk, the waiter arrived with wine, and before I could say a word, Daniel had already ordered a bottle of my favorite Chateau Margaux. Asterisk, my stomach flipped. How did he know that? Asterisk, the conversation started off light, filled with easy laughter and stories about the office. But as the night went on, I felt something shift between us. A tension I couldn't quite place. Asterisk, finally, after the plates were cleared, he leaned forward, his voice quieter. Asterisk, I need to ask you something. And I don't want you to feel pressured, I just want your honest answer. I held my breath, nodding. Retiring at the end of the year. My heart sank. I had worked alongside Daniel for 2 decades. He was more than my boss, he was my friend. The idea of him leaving left a strange hollow feeling in my chest. Asterisk, but that's not why I asked you here. He continued, studying me carefully. I've spent the last few years thinking about what life will look like after I step down. And the more I think about it, the more I realize there's someone I don't want to leave behind when I walk away from that office. Asterisk, a lump formed in my throat. Daniel, asterisk, he reached for my hand, his fingers warm against mine. I don't just admire you, Evelyn. I care about you more than I probably should. He let out a soft chuckle, shaking his head. I never said anything before because I didn't want to cross that line. That now, looking at the years ahead, I realize I don't want them to be without you. My mind spun. Asterisk, this was my boss. My stable, professional, never out of line boss. And he was sitting across from me, telling me he cared for me. Asterisk. I know this is unexpected, he continued, squeezing my hand gently. And I know you probably never saw me that way, but I had to tell you. Because if there's even a small chance you might feel the same way, then maybe we don't have to keep pretending this is just a professional relationship. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. I was 62 years old. Romance wasn't something I had considered for a long time. After my divorce, I had buried myself in work, convinced that those parts of life were behind me. And yet, sitting here, looking into the eyes of a man who had been by my side for 20 years, I realized something. I wasn't just shocked, it wasn't just flattered. Asterisk, I was afraid. Asterisk, because deep down, in a place I hadn't let myself explore, I knew he wasn't the only one who had been pretending. Asterisk, that night, sleep didn't come easily. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of dinner, the way he looked at me, the way his voice softened when he said my name, the way my pulse quickened when he touched my hand. Asterisk, had I truly never thought about him that way? Asterisk, or had I buried it so deep that I refused to acknowledge it? Asterisk, the next morning, I arrived at the office early, hoping for a moment to collect myself. But as soon as I stepped inside, I knew that wouldn't be possible. Asterisk, a single red rose sat on my desk. No explanation, just a silent message. My fingers hovered over the petals, but I didn't touch them. I knew who had left it. I didn't need a note to tell me. Asterisk, I inhaled sharply, setting my bag down and taking my seat. My office felt different that morning, charged with something I couldn't quite name. Asterisk. Daniel's words echoed in my mind. Asterisk. Do you ever think about yourself? About what you want? Asterisk. For years, I had convinced myself that I didn't need anything more than what I had. My independence, my career, my carefully built solitude. And yet, here I was, staring at a single rose. Asterisk, feeling something stir inside me. I was still lost in thought when I heard a familiar knock at my office door. Morning. His voice was warm, steady. Asterisk, I turned. And there he was standing in the doorway, his expression unreadable. Asterisk. Morning. I replied, my voice softer than I intended. Asterisk, he stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Did you get my gift? Asterisk, I glanced at the rose, then back at him. Asterisk, I did. Asterisk, he tilted his head slightly, watching me. Asterisk, I let out a slow breath. I don't know what you expect me to say, Daniel. Asterisk, his lips curled into a small smile. I don't expect anything, Evelyn. I just want to know what's going through your mind. I hesitated. Honestly, I feel like my whole world tilted last night. Asterisk, Daniel nodded, his gaze steady. Is that such? I'll bet. Thing. I stared at him for a long moment, and for the first time, I let myself wonder. Asterisk, what if? Maybe this wasn't the end of something. Maybe it was just the beginning.